research and commercialization, market research is very much important. But as we as academicians, if we see, consider, then we always struggle where to start with in commercialization aspect when it's to global market, not Indian market. So is there any platform or knowledge repository information where any kind of sources available?
Well, we are in the process of building out or up a global network with partners that help us to get and to define that. But this is at a stage when we understand what your IP is. But I think there are sources out there, maybe Philip, you can add on to that, but I think for us is, our network, we then can, once the innovation is already there.
So that's where CBaaS comes in, right? Right. The continuous question to Mr. Philip. Philip, can you please explain the audience about, for example, there is an IP which is granted to me. Okay, how CBaaS can help us to get into the global world?
Yeah. So potentially one step back.
I request, in the interest of the audience, a little slow because this is very important. We are very curious to listen to this.
So when I concepted the whole thing, I looked at where's the mutual problem basically everybody has in company building. And it's always the same stuff. It's basically where to get funding from proper, nice, and accountable investors. Right? All the companies need resources. Once they're at a certain stage of executing on that, everybody wants sales, right? Need sales, right? You need a proof of market and that there's a demand. Because if you really look at the statistics, what's the number one failure reason? There's no market demand. Number one. Like 42%, 50%, no matter where you look. That means, I think it sounds quite unspectacular, but it is spectacular. It means over years, money was burned, trust is burned, friendships are burned, hope is burned, divorces. It is like that. So this is actually what everybody needs, an automated B2B global sales. What we have seen in software, quite easy, right? App Store, download, boom. Yeah? So we need that with product technologies, also complex products, biotech, pharma, little like niche thing here, like too many, so they're very big players, as we all know, right? So the basic idea was how to provide, if you make the innovation list, automated funding, automated distribution, and automated exit, right? Because, for example, if I would start a glasses company, I don't have 30 years of experience, but potentially a producer does. There are different stages, we know that early stage, later stage, but if you separate that, they're experts for everything on the planet, right? And if you put that newly together, and everybody has upsides, and you get more efficient as a team. So, in other words, CBaaS sounds like a fish right at the end, sorry for that, but nothing to do with it. Company building as a service is basically who's accountable for what. So, if we separate the innovator from automate the entrepreneur part into everything ourselves, we're accountable, right? So what people are usually looking for is basically they stay accountable, put the risk on us, right? And still have the upside that nobody has, automated distribution, funding, and exit. Can I be accountable for thousands of behaviors of CEOs or innovators? No, nobody can. This is the solution. The mass scaling hasn't been solved. You can't steer with minorities, you're dependent on others, right? So now, bring it to the point, what we're going to do is, we're going to prove company building as a service. We're going to build 2,500 companies per half year, for example, speed up the whole process, give automated funding, and learn. Once we are done, we're going to offer that for existing companies. But we have to start somewhere, step by step. There are decades, centuries, there was always the same problem. It hasn't been solved. So whenever you start a company, or you consult a company, or you think, well, that could be a multi-billion-dollar whatever, like at the same moment, thousands of other people on the globe think the same thing, and will actually make it, get it done in the end, very, very few. So I think that's an SB mindset change, and we have to overcome intercultural problems. Everybody in this system thinks, oh, somebody's stealing something, And so, so we're gonna We can't solve every problem at the same time. So 25, 26, we're going to have a service for accountable parties that we offer also automated distribution for existing companies. Before we just prove it ourselves, and we have to, right? And otherwise, nobody will believe us in the masses. It's not that easy, right? But you know, basis is again trust, and that is my last word. Can I say one more sentence?
Yeah, please.
So if you really think about it, and I probably, hopefully, we explained it quite well, is first time an innovator or IP holder can choose, do I risk it all, like nowadays, everything is there, huge ecosystems, great partners, or B, do I push the risk in company building to a third party? First time. And this is what we offer.
Right.
Good point.
Right.
Thank you.
So here, it is an interesting point. Separating the innovator from the as an entrepreneur. So obviously, entrepreneur has a very different journey when you compare to the innovator. Okay, you are trying to separate them and trying to take the load of the entrepreneur and putting this innovation on the global market. Right. So now, in what was the step? Yeah.
So this is the difficult part. It's wording, right? And
Yeah.
definition. So in our world, a startup doesn't exist. Right?
Right.
So in our world, the innovator does not become the entrepreneur.
Right.
That's important, right? So they stay on the innovation, invent something else, focus on their core competency, and book the service, basically an automated entrepreneurship out of the side of the innovator.
Right.
So we don't teach, we don't coach. There are tons of awesome people on the planet,
Correct.
but try to make basically an innovator a Formula One driver. Good luck with that.
So while you're doing it, what is the role of the innovator here, parallelly that you need to support? The innovator is already doing his work, right? So what is while you're doing this overall commercialization process, what is the role of this innovator?
The goal of the innovator is always, I think, the goal of everybody. You want to have an impact. You want to feed your family. You don't want to create jobs and give something back to society. I think this has nothing to do with being an innovator. It's the goal of everybody, right? So if you are, what I told yesterday in a lot of talks, right, to very awesome people here in this awesome country, I'm saying different, I'm super excited, seriously, usually I'm not about anything, is that if you are passionate about an innovation and you want to become an entrepreneur, do it. It is there. But if you don't want to risk it all, you're insecure, it's not that easy as the press or whatever makes you, feel like what entrepreneurship is.
Right.
But are you willing to fail 2-3 times, lose it all, potentially 2-3 times, and whatever, right? So if you're not as passionate entrepreneur, there's no option. There's no option. Either, for example, you want the security side and you want to go to take a regular job, still have an awesome innovation, it doesn't happen.
Right.
Usually it's not in the statistics, right? It's like, nothing's executed.
Yeah, it's a path journey. Yeah.
So, to answer your question directly, we don't take anything away. Everything stays the same as is. It's just an added value for that more people can monetize or have greater impact with their innovation. More innovation come to life faster, more precise. And of course, if at the moment the IP is not a patent, not only, it can also be like mature ideas, right? In our world. But if you, for example, imagine you have 1,000 IPs or 100. I know private innovators have like 100 IP or ideas, and they're valued 0, right? No execution.
Yeah. No execution. Yeah. Zero.
So you hand them in, we take 50, 25 basically win.
Yeah.
And you have like 100 million extra dollars, Swiss francs, or back 2 zeros with rupees. What happens is you take that and you can do quite a bit with that, right? Out of nothing. So 0 versus monetization and impact in a standardized way. So we're not doing just market research. We are actually creating real orders, and real orders are actually the point with every product, every technology, which is the hockey stick everybody's looking for.
Great.
And if you automate that, and you know what the real orders are, and if there's market demand, we know that before we spend money.
Yes.
What happens?
It's your money. Yeah.
And now it's also our investors' money. Ross said one sentence, 1,000 companies, 1 million funding each is 1 billion we're gonna basically put in the next 3-4 months. It's about like compounding numbers here, right? So what happens then? If you know the market demand, before you spent the money
Right.
of trusted partners who invested. If you made it, that means you eliminated failure reason number one.
More informed choice.
No
decisions.
market demand is actually X.
Right.
And imagine there are tons of ways to eliminate the rest as well. That's what we do. So it's just an upside and additional service to general company building companies say, look, we're not taking anything away. Do the your passionate entrepreneurship. The companies built them, all experts there, or B, book a service and push the risk here in order to have more for yourself as well. Imagine 100 million, like 100 students and I don't know, 5 million for each exit. In a year, 500 million more. So I don't play the greed thing here, just want to draw the awareness, just edit.
Right.
You know, edit services that doesn't exist today.
Right.
Cool. That's
Great. We